So let's talk about this not knowing tonight. We say this all the time. You know, we refer to it in Dharma talks, and it's the first of the three tenets of Zen peacemakers: not knowing, bearing witness, and taking action, taking loving action. We have other expressions that are like this: only, don't know. And we probably talk about it enough, but it's elusive what it is. And so let's spend a little bit of time with it this evening. We'll use case 20 from the book of Equanimity. And one of the better translations of this book is by Shishin Roshi. Case 20. And it's like this. Attention, and they use the Japanese names. In some translations you'll see the Chinese names, but attention, Master Mizo asked Hogan, where have you come from? And Hogan replied, I pilgrimage aimlessly. What's the matter of your pilgrimage? Asked Mizo. I don't know, replied Hogan. Not knowing is the most intimate, remarked Mizo. And at that, Hogan experienced great enlightenment. There's the capping verse at the end I'll read because I really like it. Right now, investigation replete, it's the same as before. Utterly free from minute obstacles, one comes not to know. Short's short, long's long. Cease pruning and grafting. According with high, according with low, each is even and content. A family's manner of abundance or thrift is used freely according to circumstances. Fields and lands excellent, sportive, one's feet go where they will. A clear transcription against one's pair of eyebrows. I think eyebrows oftentimes refers to Bodhidharma because they have formidable eyebrows. And I want to talk about this because it does come up so much. We use it a lot in Zen peacemakers. And it's one of my favorite ways of looking at, just personally, my practice, to the extent that, if my friend Joel will help me, in my living room, I have this hanging. And this is, the Chinese is Bu Ji Zui Xin Xie. Japanese it's Fuji Sai Shin Setsu. And it's not knowing is most intimate. Anyways, it's always fun to bring kind of show and tell to class. So I was walking out of the house and I thought, I'll take that. So you don't mind rolling it. You don't have to, unless you want to try to hold it for that. So let's take this apart a little bit or get into it a little bit. When I hear this not knowing is most intimate, I really hear two parts. There's the not knowing part, which one might say, and this is just me interpreting this, is more mind, and the most intimate part is heart. But I could be wrong. But those two are together in this one phrase, in these 5 hansa or kanji. And the not knowing part of this, and maybe we'll have a chance to experience this here in a little bit, the not knowing part of this can feel a little bit cold or disengaged or groundless or something. It can feel a little empty, a little disconnected. But the most intimate part for me conjures from Mizo Roshi, appreciate your life. the most intimate part of this phrase. It's the warmth in the blood and the viscera of my life. Tears and sweat, joyous ecstasy, anguish, life and death. All that gooey stuff. So what do we mean by not knowing? How can that be intimate? How could it be intimate? And surely we're not asking ourselves to be ignorant. We're not asking ourselves to forget our phone number or our password or how to get home. Even though one of these characters was wandering aimlessly, he didn't have any interest in going home, clearly. So this is not a call to leave home and be a mindless wanderer. Mindful is probably more what it's calling for. To be most intimate is to be engaged and in the midst of all that gooey stuff. Sensei might have said recently, when you're cold, be cold. When you're hot, be hot. When you're bleeding out into your last few minutes, bleed out. Joe remember talking on the way down the mountain in the car about, there's a personal item that he had lost, and somebody who was trying to be a good Zen, Zen scolder said, "Oh, you're not a very good Zen student because, you miss having this thing." No, I do miss having this thing. It really hurts. It's okay to remember your phone number or your kids' names, or they need to file your taxes. You're just a space case if you don't do those things. That's not knowing, I don't think. My opinion, again, you'll get a few of those today. It's not knowing to have it be Friday and say, "Oh shit, I was just so in my Zen thing and I forgot to vote." Mm-hmm. I won't say what that is being. Fill in your own blanks. Please vote if you haven't. And know in your guts that voting matters, especially this time. And we've got, in our larger, I can't speak for anything outside of the United States, but our larger Zen community, we have lots and lots of advanced, very serious Zen practitioners, transmitted teachers who are scholars, lecturers, artists, managers of corporations, university professors, all kinds of things where you have to know stuff. So it's not bad. So knowing the things in itself isn't the issue. Jodo's hoping that I know how to get home to my house tonight. This is cards there. I promise. Forgetting how to get home is not. So what is it? Counting your breath is not knowing. Following your breath is not knowing. Sitting with the mu koan is not knowing. Doksan can be not knowing depending on how we approach it. You might walk around, I said this the other day to somebody, you might walk around for a few hours or a day or a week or a month working this koan. But when you go in, at least I found the best way to go see your teacher is to let all that go and go in with a completely empty mind. Council practice, beautiful. I love council practice because we have that opportunity to practice not knowing. When it's my turn to speak, if I'm really engaged in counsel practice the way that we encourage people to do. Someone hands me the talking piece, and I have no idea whatsoever what I'm going to say. That's a pretty intimate feeling. Like, oh shit, they're going to think I'm an idiot. What if nothing comes out? What if it's gibberish? Zazen is not. Odin just got back, I don't know if he got back last night or Saturday night, from Poland. And he had, let's just say, some unanticipated changes to his travel itinerary. I think he ended up going to Washington, D.C. and, just in order to get home, he had to do some things like that. And having traveled probably, I don't know, a million miles probably in my life, or at least United says I did. I'm reminded that one of the great ways to practice and train with not knowing is to travel by yourself, because it's almost guaranteed. it's a guarantee, Not every time. Sometimes it's so smooth you go, wow, that's pretty weird. But stuff happens, and more so these days too. And we're called on to really, on one hand, fix it if you can, but roll with it for sure. Forgetting my passport in my hotel room in Shanghai and not realizing that I did that until I get to Pudong Airport is very intimate. It's very intimate. Looks like I'm not going home today. So there's that. How much of my life can be not knowing? How do I apply this to driving home with Joe? Or to getting up tomorrow morning and facing the budget and trying to figure out how to make it work? I can tell in myself when I'm reverting, and I shouldn't even say reverting because it makes it sound like I spend any appreciable amount of time not knowing. I don't, I'm not that good at it. But I can tell on myself when I fall into knowing, I can tell, I can feel it. My mind tightens up. I loop over and over and over again with the same ideas. I might get angry. And whether I say these things out loud, and hopefully with enough practice, I say them out loud less often, and ideally not at all, but they still run through my head. He's always doing this kind of shit. This shouldn't be happening. Those people are definitely racists. I'm no good at this. And here's the fill in the blanks. I'm not really a kind of guy, fill in the blanks. Zoom, football, politics, people, spicy food, bluegrass, travel. I'm not that kind of guy. So I'm going to kind of block this out because he's got the football game on, and if I got up and turned it off, that'd be weird. So I'm stuck. And he's always doing that kind of thing. Knowing, clinging, knowing, clinging. Knowing is clinging. Knowing is preferring something strongly. Knowing is avoiding what's happening. Knowing is rejecting what's happening, or denying it, or blocking it. Not knowing is not doing those things. My friend Ingu Roshi says, empty mind, soft heart, kindly acting, as his expression of the three tenets. I love it. It's just so simple. He works with young guys in prison in New York State. They can relate to this. empty mind, soft heart. That's the not knowing. And then I think I said this last week or a couple weeks ago, but I'll say it again because I love it so much. Roshi E. Marco uses this hand gesture. This is knowing. We don't have to go all the way like this. A little bit. That's good. A little bit is enough. So, do I have a preference for how I want things to go tomorrow? Oh boy. If you got a couple hours, I can regale you. But I don't need to cling to that. I can hold that light. Directly letting things be what they are. And I guess I gotta say finally, at the end of this, I don't know what not knowing is. I don't know what it is. But I know what to do about it. Breathe in, breathe out. I mentioned this the other morning, but I'd like to do an exercise with everybody that a friend of mine did in a class the other day. And it's about not knowing. She was teaching about not knowing. And usually you do this in diet, to do this one-to-one, and I'm sure many of you have done this before, but we'll just do it as a group. So I'm going to ask a series of questions, and if you're online, just go ahead and answer these questions to yourself. But don't turn your mic on, or it'll be cacophony. So, and to every question, let the question settle in and answer together. But your answer will always be, I don't know. Let the question drop in and feel the question. Are we all here?
I don't know.
Are we humans?
I don't know.
Is it evening?
I don't know.
Will we ever see each other again after time?
I don't know.
What happens tomorrow?
I don't know.
Will Jodo and I make it home safely?
I don't know.
Will we get sick and die?
I don't know.
Who are you?
I don't know.
Who am I?
I don't know.
Why are we alive?
I don't know.
What does it mean?
I don't know.
So thanks for listening. Let's just go right to discussion. Two questions, and just for anyone who would like to speak to this. So, what comes up, or what came up for you when you had to answer? I don't know. What came up? And from the time that we began those questions to the time that we ended them, did anything shift? Did anything change? So I'll hand it over to everybody else and let you comment.